It is Wrexham against Sheffield United. See that smile on your face, but I'm not actually coming to you first. I'm going to JJ first about this one. Hey, JJ, there's a great story, obviously, behind what's happening at Wrexham right now. They've grabbed the hearts of many people in the United States of America with the ownership and obviously, trying to chase promotion. And every single time we see it on ESPN, it's all over the place. Like, we recognize it. We understand it. We get it. But it's a pretty cool story coming out of Ryan Reynolds donating some money to a youth club in Wrexham recently for this youth club to get new kits. So they honored him by getting the Deadpool logo on the side of their sleeves. What do you think about this new takeover at Wrexham Football Club and the whole story? It's pretty cool, right?
I do think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think it's great, when you have these kind of projects that really bring a bit of attention to what's going on in the lower leagues. I think I saw there was a takeover of Richmond as well recently, which is, another example of sort of people starting to buy into, these clubs that are a bit closer to the grassroots and, bringing a bit of attention there. I know that, Wrexham's ownership, they've been, really railing to try and get more, TV coverage and bring some of that money, down closer to the bottom of the pyramid, and they of course they've been trying to get themselves promoted as well. Came very, very close last season. Who knows, perhaps they'll get it over the line this campaign, but a cup run I think always kind of adds to to the kind of fun feeling around projects like this. And like Nigel said, the FA Cup, I do agree, sort of has needed, to get a bit of an injection of magic in the last couple of years. And perhaps, Wrexham being sort of one of the surprise packages who could make potentially a deep run, could be one of the feel good stories for people to follow between now and the end of this cup competition. But I do think as well, when you look at some of the teams that they've drawn, when they come up against the likes of a Sheffield United, a club that's not in the top tier, but a club that's steeped in tradition as well, those are the kind of games that make the FA Cup the sexy domestic cup competition.
Here Mike.
JJ, you said it all and then some. I think the one thing I focus on in this is there's always been question marks about where American ownership lies in European football, and especially in the Premier League. I think what Ryan Reynolds and his business partner are doing is showing that there's such a need, such an impact for lower league football and American ownership and what they can do. The fact that you're seeing TikTok and big institutions and big companies in marketing going towards a team like Wrexham, you can't help but fall in love. You can't help but pull for him. I will be pulling for him in this matchup.
Nigel, I want to come to you real quickly about the FA Cup, because it was always my dream as a player, as a kid, young kid growing up. I watched the FA Cup and I admired the FA Cup more than any other competition. And it was kind of weird to me that cup competition was always going to be special to my heart. And I was lucky to have a good run in the German FA Cup, which was great. But the FA Cup is always so special. How difficult is it for you? Obviously, you've played at both levels. You've played at a little bit of a lower level going against some of the big dogs in this competition, but you've also played for the big dog going against these minnows in the competition. How difficult did you find it being a clear favourite going into these ties against teams like a Wrexham who have got a lot of support behind them?
It was very difficult. And just like you said, Ian, I was the same when I was young. The FA Cup for me, or for our generation growing up, was the equivalent to the love and the adoration you see now of the Champions League. The Champions League was nothing like this. Yeah. Our FA Cup was that. That was it. Everyone was in trance with the FA Cup because you know what it means to grassroots football. It's the David versus Goliath story. And then when you play against some of these players who at the time had part-time jobs because they weren't full professionals, it just added to the magic. And it just really make you realize how fortunate and lucky you were as a player. And the difference with our generation, I would say, was there was probably more of a never say die attitude from these lower league clubs. And they made it difficult for you because anytime they played a Premier League club or a Championship club, that was their FA Cup final. That was the mentality that they had, and they gave everything for it. And that's why you see upsets. And like yourself, I think this year's FA Cup, JJ said, this year's FA Cup needed this. It needs this. And the attention that Wrexham is bringing to lower league clubs really is fascinating to see. And it's great to see because grassroots football is still needed.
Yeah, well and truly. And I'll tell you a quick story. Yesterday, I posted on my social medias at Joy Pauline, if you want to go follow, about it being 16 years since I played against Werder Bremen in the German quarterfinal of the FA Cup. And there was about 4 inches of snow on the pitch, and the referee was Felix Brich. JJ, you know Felix Brich, a famous German referee. It's certainly a stiff referee, and I'll never forget the coach from Werder Bremen. I forget his name with the mustache. He came out and he said, and this was ahead of the 2006 World Cup, and he said to the referee. Thomas Schaff, yeah. He said, if you play this effing game and Miroslav Klose gets injured and misses the effing World Cup, it'll be all your fault. 20 minutes into the game, he dislocated his shoulder.
Oh my day.
And we won, knocked him out the German Cup quarterfinals, went on to get beat by Bayern in the semi. But it's stories like that make it so special. You know, I love cup competition. So hope everybody out there really enjoys the FA Cup this weekend. We can't wait. We hope Wrexham do well, and we hope the underdogs do well. Be careful where you're betting out there, because it's not easy to bet on this competition at all.